Glass is very fascinating stuff, and it's cool stuff to use. As an artistic medium, you know, some of the properties of glass are quite unbelievable to people who work in other materials. So it has possibilities that are exciting and that open doors to expression.
For most of us that live and work with and around Tom Moore, he's a challenging and exciting kind of person to work with. He's always keen, positive, enormously productive and good value.
Tom's a bit of a mad scientist. Tom's work is very unique in the glass movement. In fact, he's the only person doing the sort of work he's doing. He lives and breathes his work, and his work becomes him.
When you first see Tom's work, it does look funny, it does look amusing, it is appealing. I think that they also encourage us just to look at ourselves a little bit more closely, look at our relationship with the environment.
My work has to be entertaining to an audience. I have to make people excited to see it and make them want to know more. I want it to be really stimulating to look at. This morning we'll be doing some goblet making.
Yes.
So it's a training exercise for Kumiko, a glass trainee at the jam factory. Let's go for it. The first time I saw glass blowing, I was extremely excited and I just wanted to have a go at it. I asked the lecturers at the art school, how can I do this? And they said, you'll have to dedicate your life to it. And so I thought about it for a while and then I said, okay, I will. The most basic thing is just to go up to a furnace and stick a rod into it and get a blob of glass out of it. And it's quite an intimidating thing to do for the first time. And the way that your body learns to be a glass blower is by making the same thing again and again and again, up to a point where you can pretty much do it in your sleep.
My first impression of him was that he was a pretty weird dude. He was a little bit like the rest of us, unsure of ourselves and a little bit nervous about the whole thing because, of course, coming into the Jam Factory glass studio is a pretty nerve-wracking thing.
Okay, blow.
It's one of those places where you have to blow glass every day, a lot of glass, and earn an income and live up to the expectations of your mates, teammates and contemporaries and develop your own work.
And if you're a little bit cold, just heat before you blow.
A kind of a signature item and a demonstration of skill in that Italian style of glassworking is to be able to make a goblet. And you know, to work a goblet in all of its complexity is something that is really held up as being sort of something to go for. And so those kind of skills are worked on a lot. Tom takes it and he wrings it out a bit, you know, and pushes and punches it and makes it his own by inferring a whole bunch of other stuff in it that is pretty unique.
It was important for him to follow the glass blowing rules, and it was important for him to break away from them. And I remember one of his first production lines, which was a vase, but it actually was a fish at the same time. So somehow he sort of managed to do those standard exercises, but would always, you know, put them into his own head and his own thoughts.
I first met Tom when I moved down to Adelaide, and I was introduced to some of the people at the jam factory, and I used to go there and watch the glass blowing in winter because it was very warm there. When I first saw his work, I thought it was wild, and it was funny because I assumed most other glass artists had this amazing, colourful, varied work, and then I realised it was just him that made creatures and put eyes everywhere. Tom creates things that are from the imagination, so they're always curious amalgamations of creatures and objects and things, and then once you see them, you start to wonder about what they're doing and where they're going and where they come from.
I was working very much with the bottle form and making bottles into characters. And I was using these eyes. Oh, that's good. I like that.
That is nice.
This one's amazing. I saw a drawing of a potato, and the eyes on this potato were so like a human eye. It was just like this incredible moment when I thought, aha, I can do that. I can make these potatoes come alive. I can make them wake up. And then the combination of the lumpy shape, which you don't associate with glass, and the sort of dirtiness of it. It's such a weird combination of elements. It's just this lumpy, dumb little thing. Then as soon as you put the eye on it, it is like it comes alive. And it really is great.
Okay, just put our little friends up there.
There's a big risk when you're thinking, are these potatoes with eyes going to bring me a living? How can you tell? And this is who Tom is. He just couldn't go another path.
I'm making potato eyes. This is a highly secret process. I'm just what you call gathering a blob. There's something like human eyes. They only can be viewed from the front. It's not an eyeball because it gets inset into a bigger glass form. I have made a couple of hundred, I guess. And I have a limitless appetite for using them.
I think the eyes are a fabulous example. Each one of the eyes, or the pairs of eyes, the way that they shine from behind, the life in the eyes, they follow you around the room.
I usually make about 15 eyes, and then I'll make a bunch of leaves and other stuff. Just waiting for these crazy bohemian puppeteers to arrive. I made these glass puppets for them to play with, and so far they haven't broken them, which is a miracle.
Hey, hey. Hey. Tom, where are you?
They showed me a bunch of wooden marionettes that they had from their collection, and then I responded to those by making these glass marionettes. It's amazing the amount of energy that they have, and just the incredible way that they really do come to life under their hands. It's like they are totally identified with the puppet, and their own existence is kind of put on hold. It's freaky, actually.
Well, hey, come on. Stage here. Come on. Come. Hop in, hop in, hop in, hop in. Ooh, lovely guy.
Roll up, ladies and gentlemen. Come and see the fabulous one-legged horse. Oh, he's a three-legged horse of Stepney. Oh, I think we're having a change of scenery.
Oh, come on. Yeah.
Change of scenery. Oh.
Change scenery.
Oh, and whose little veggie are you then?
It's a personality. Every puppet got a Tom's personality inside. And when you talk to him, when you talk to Tom, actually he knows how to do things. And he likes to do things. That's the important thing.
They're really rough with them. They have no regard to them being made of glass, I don't think. But they are putting them under enormous stress, and the things are surviving, which is incredible.
I think I'm falling.
They're a hoot, these things. I would never have thought of doing this sort of thing with glass. We used to perform professionally, so you have to think of material that will last or that can repair it, but glass, wow, that's news to me.
Tom, that was beautiful. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Mike. Amazing.
I think most glass artists and glass collectors and glass viewers take glass very seriously, and Tom does too. But I think that he's prompted us to look at it slightly differently, to think that it can be something else as well. It can be funny, it can be narrative, it can be serious, it can have different meanings.
Australian glass has a reputation as being well made, well put together, well thought of, perhaps a little dry sometimes, and Tom's work is definitely not dry.
I always feel kind of nervous when I'm installing an exhibition, and there's always the clock ticking. You've got to have it done in time. I wanted to make a world for the glass objects to inhabit. As a kid, I went to museums quite a bit, and the whole kind of diorama was such a beautiful combination of painting and carpentry. I wanted them to appear like they may have been a real sort of natural history specimen. And to make this kind of miniature world in a box, the whole kind of notion of spectacle, it just seems so boring to not do it. I started off very simply with a blue bit of paper and a cotton wool cloud and a bit of astroturf. And fairly quickly I realised that I could introduce all these other things. When the audience comes into this space, they are surrounded by the work. I do want it to be quite a chaotic experience and a little bit confusing, but also exciting. We're just putting the finishing touches on the world that we've created here. Doing a lot of dirt right now. Rosie's here in the corner.
Oh, it's great playing with the work. It's almost irresistible. It's hard not to. You just want to get in there with your hands and see what happens and have them starting to talk to one another. We kind of egg each other on. And then it just becomes a little play scenario.
I always have a pretty clear idea of what I want to do, but I'm open to letting the space sort of dictate what has to happen. So it is an interesting experience. You can start to have an idea about what you want to say with the whole picture, and the glass object is just sort of like the talent within this sort of story.
Tom was awarded a scholarship to go and work in Japan. The things that he was interested in is the fact that they are also interested in mythical monsters, and they have a very cartoon-oriented society.
They knew what I was on about. They got it. And that was before many people in Australia had got what I wanted to do. I'd been in Japan for a few months and I saw this truck. And it was almost completely covered with plants. And it looked like it was becoming a plant. And it just seemed like such a simple image. And cars have had a devastating effect on the planet. And yet, plants can absolutely wreck cars. So, yeah, it seems very hopeful to me.
He started to think about how nature could win out over industry, the triumph of the environment, and that seemed to be a turning point for him.
I thought to myself, okay, if that can become a plant, surely it's possible for a bird to also become a plant. I guess I'm using nature as a symbol of hope. I'm sort of sidestepping reality and talking more absurdly about the state of play of the world. It's easy to forget that we depend on plants, absolutely, for our existence. Exploring a blurring of the boundaries between animals, plants and machines I find really exciting. And so a very simple demonstration of this is to put moss on my bike. So turn this machine into a part plant, or to acknowledge the animal in myself by wearing a wolf suit.
Who is Wolf Boy? That is the question.
Who is Wolf Boy? I've got no idea.
He lives here in Adelaide, and sometimes he's been out at the nights when I've been out.
Where does Wolf Boy come from? It's one of those mysteries that's going to last with us all for quite a while, I'm sure.
Sometimes there is no motivation. It just seems like a good idea at the time and you run with it.
A lot of us truly admire his work and him. And then there's a whole bunch of people who say, what the hell is going on there? This guy's a nut. There's a lot of people that don't understand what he's on about at all. And that's a very enviable position as an artist, I believe.
I work a lot with a photographer, Grant Hancock, who has a really awesome camera and a beautiful studio and a lot of experience shooting art and lots of craft. And we have a lot of fun together, actually, making these pictures. Hey, cool. I also work with this guy called Nigel. He makes videos and animations of my work and makes music for them. He's crazy, but he's a genius. The movies that we've made together started off extremely rough, with Rosie's hand coming in and moving things around and Rosie making noises.
The animations are very much Tom, you know, the way that they're put together, the jerkiness of them, the feeling of them, the sort of purposeful motion and the hands-in kind of look from time to time. It's not a finely crafted skill area of his own, but he is making an animation Tom style.
To have a hand coming in, it kind of breaks the spell, which I like. And, you know, it makes you think, oh, wow, you know, whoa, what are they doing, sort of thing. Who's in control here? Which I think is an important kind of part of what we're trying to do. They have become a lot slicker. There was a very loose brief at the start of the Autoganic movie, which was just destroy everything, Nigel. You know, lots of flame, lots of fire. You cannot be too over the top with this. Just rain hellfire on everything. And so he was very excited about that. The possibility of blowing things up is great. It just looks cool. One of the associations that people have with glass is its fragility. And playing with that is always fun. So having the object being digitally destroyed, there's something exciting about that. It's really cool seeing these things coming to life in the animation, and I'd really like to step into that world. To ride my bike through that world would be great, and to interact with the characters would be hilarious.
In Gallery 2. Tom is an expert in classical glass technique. However, he directs his skill with a renegade attitude, creating a tumultuous glass menagerie. Autoganic, Tom's show, explodes as a feral dreamscape, an imaginary superhighway, where mutant glass animals and vegetables, sentient cars and renegade burgers eye each other off across an endless tarmac.
I really want people to like what I'm making and to get enjoyment out of it. And I find that extremely kind of gratifying after all that work, that people kind of get it and like it.
I think there is a theatrical element to Tom's work. A big part of it is all about the image of the maker and what the maker is able to infer into his process and the materials, and Tom does that particularly well. I mean, his whole life seems to be in each one of those objects that he finishes up. It seems to mirror Tom and Tom's life. You don't have to be concerned about where it starts and finishes, it's just all one thing.
I've spent 17 years or so learning how to make stuff with glass. So in some ways it's kind of a wasted resource of my skill to not keep making stuff. And I do like it. My ideas come from the last idea, and so it is a kind of evolution. It does all seem to be adding up to a sort of bigger story. I think these disparate elements that have been appearing are going to become a more cohesive thing eventually. I do feel a sense of achievement because that sort of thing is pushing the limits of what is possible. I want to get to a stage where no one can make what I am trying to make. My work is about the possibility of enjoyment and wonder. Fundamentally, it's about hope. It's an open script. I don't have an end point in mind, so it's putting together things that shouldn't go together and making something that hopefully will work. one?
It's not a real fish, it's glass.
Can I just have these?
Okay. $1.65, thanks.